Hey, welcome to another episode of Mutea Evans Show. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 things that poor people waste their money on that rich people do not. There is so much that poor people buy thinking they need, and that keeps them poor. But rich people know them, and so they avoid them. So in today's video, we're going to talk about that. And by the time you end this video, you will learn the 5 things to avoid, or at least regulate. I wouldn't say you can avoid them entirely, but you can regulate how you interact or buy them. And to start off at the very top, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. We do such videos every other day. And when you subscribe, you'll be notified every time we upload them. Okay? It's all about me, tech, and money. At the very top, of course, is the first, which is clothes and shoes. It's not illegal to look good or to look fine. It makes you feel better, it gives you more courage, more confidence. But at the same time, if you're not careful, if you don't regulate the urge to get new stuff and look flashy, that would become your full-time investment. That's the only thing you may invest in, because every other day there's something new in the clothing industry. You can never compete with designers. They are bringing out something new every other day. And that's their job, that's their business. So don't be there trying to compete with them. Even themselves, they do not try to compete with their own selves. You don't see designers with new clothes every other day just because they're producing new clothes every other day. So unless you need something, you need a new pair of shoes, you need a new dress, you need a new suit. Why are you getting one? I mean, I have this gray suit, I don't need another one today until I can't wear this anymore. And this should take me for a couple of years. So the best thing to do first is get timeless pieces. Not to try to be too fashionable, to be always there when a new item is out. No, get timeless pieces that you can rock and look good on for a long period of time, for years. That way you save a lot of money. You may spend more because they are quality items. For example, this suit is, I think, three years old now, still in very good shape, and so I can still rock it. But it cost me some good money compared to an off-the-rack suit I would get elsewhere at a throwaway price. So spend some good money on something good that is timeless, that you're going to rock for a long period of time. And have a discipline, have a budget for clothes and shoes. Do not ever go above your budget when it comes to clothes and shoes. You're not making any money out of it unless your career is based on how you look, and even then you should not spend all your money on that. Okay? Yeah, so find a way to regulate how you spend your money on shoes and clothes. Number 2 is high-end homes. Homes. Most people do not buy homes because they need them. They use emotions, and even the agents, the real estate agents, use emotions to sell those houses to us, unfortunately. But because they know the sport that hurts the most. So you go meet this new real estate, you go to this new estate and you like the houses, and because the agent is touching on the soft spots that you got, you end up spending your hand-earned money on that new real estate item or that house, which in most cases doesn't mean getting money back to you. I'll give you an example. If today you spend 10 million shillings on a house, all you're getting in return is the savings on rent that you could be paying elsewhere. That's all. And of course, the gain, hopefully you gain anything. But here in Kenya, the real estate is really struggling. As of the time I'm doing this video, which is, when is today? I think it's the 14th of August 2022. Real estate in Kenya is really struggling, and buying a new home that is expensive for no reason may get you into trouble because you may end up paying for that house for the rest of your life. That's a whole life wasted. There's no life after this life. Okay, I don't know what you believe in, but you only have this one life. And you can't spend your entire life on that one house, honestly. There are better investments you can do out there. And that's why you see people who have the capacity, the ability to buy big homes, still renting their not very flashy, but also not very low houses and comfortably living there because they know better ways to spend their money and to invest their money. Before 2022 and before COVID-19, real estate was bringing back an average of 20%. 20% in returns. There are so many other investments out there that can make you way more in terms of returns, 30, 40, 50% in returns compared to real estate. So do not buy the idea of, I own my own house, I'm a landlord. Come on, use numbers. Is it a good investment or not? What's the opportunity cost to making that huge purchase? Instead of living in that apartment that is worth 30 million shillings and all you're saving is 50k or 70k or 100k on rent, invest that 30 million shillings elsewhere. Even if you bought shares today and every bank will allow you, will assist you, do this. You could get 30-40% returns on your investment. 30% of 30 million, we're talking about 3 million, I think so. Yes, around 30% of 30 million, that must be 9 million. 9 million bob. 9 million bob a year. If you divide that by 10, assuming that you're getting, we have 10 months in a year, you'd end up with around 900,000 shillings returns every single month. With your 900,000 shillings, you can still pay that 100k, 150 on rent and still live comfortably. So do not fall victim to all those nice things those guys say to you. Number 3 is gadgets. Do you really need a new iPhone? I still do not understand how I see young people with no jobs, with no businesses, with no incomes, carrying around gadgets worth 150, 200,000 shillings just because they are on TikTok and they have to create powerful videos. I saw a joke the other day of someone saying, a meme, how do young people use an iPhone worth 200,000, 150,000 shillings and still use Fuliza? I mean, the most Fuliza can give you is 5, 10, 10, 15, 20, 20k. If you're using 150,000 shillings phone to access Fuliza worth 5k, there's a problem with you. There's a huge problem with you. In fact, leave alone 150, a 50,000 shillings gadget to access Fuliza of 2k, 3k. My friends, you need to have your priorities right, because right now your priorities are upside down. Unless you need it, do not buy it. And what should guide you is not the feeling you get when you're carrying around a heavy or an expensive gadget. What should guide you on what to buy is not your need to use a bigger screen to watch football or to play games, computer games. What should guide you is the need. Why do you need it? What do you believe you need it? And what is the opportunity cost? That 100k you're spending to buy a 75-inch screen could be saved and invested to earn you money for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. But now you're spending that money and it's a waste because you can never get that money back. You're in fact going to be losing money. If you decide to sell that item after 2-3 days, you lose money for just 3 days. So avoid it if you can. Avoid buying gadgets that you do not need unless you need them. You only need a Mac a MacBook. If you are a creative, you want to edit videos, to edit photos, maybe you are a photographer, and so much more. Otherwise, an HP laptop will sort you well. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you need a huge machine, a huge machine, yes, if you are doing something important with that machine, not to watch YouTube videos. Come on, you can still do that on your phone. So do not waste your money. You're not never getting it back if you spend it. All right? That was number 3. Number 4 is food, especially young people. Food is expensive, especially in this city. I'm talking about Nairobi as a city and in most other cities. And bearing that in mind, it doesn't necessarily mean expensive food is quality food. In fact, it's the opposite in most cases. So do not give yourself that as a reason for spending a lot of money on food. Going to a restaurant today without 1,000 shillings, you do not have a good meal. It doesn't mean you've gotten the value of 1,000 shillings. If you spend that 1,000 shillings to prepare your own meals at home, you'd get better value. You don't if you don't have the time, you still do not have to do it. You can get someone to do it for you. You still save a lot. So eating out is fun, but it's not something you should do on a daily. Come on, you're wasting your money. And in most cases, you're eating junk. You're wasting yourself, and you'll add weight and now start struggling on losing the weight and have some health issues. You don't want to go to that, okay? Save that money that you're spending on food and invest it. Later on, you can have enough to waste on food and such. Food and drinks, of course. Food comes with drinks, if you ask me. Yes, that expensive bottle of whiskey that you're spending money on in the club every other Saturday. I mean, if you keep that money, you can invest it, and it will bring you huge returns. Especially in this city, alcohol is also not very cheap. If you go to some of these nice places, 10K for a bottle of Hennessy, 15K. Just imagine you're spending that much on a bottle of whiskey to just feel tipsy and, yeah, for a night. Then what? What happens after that? Save that money, bro. It will help you somewhere, someday. You don't have to spend that money and then on Monday you're wondering, I have to go to work. I have to work so hard. I mean, you just wasted the money you had, and now you have to work even harder to get more money for the coming weekend. You don't want to do that. Invest that money, keep it aside, let it multiply, and you become successful through that. Okay? Finally, it's expensive cars. Cars are an addiction, especially to young people. And there's always one that is coming out that is better than the one you have. So if you're not careful, if you don't control yourself, you're gonna spend all your money on cars. I'm telling you that out of experience. I've spent a huge fortune on I would call them vehicles. I'm also into bikes or motorcycles, and so I understand what it's like. It's fun. You get a lot of joy riding around, driving around. But at the same time, they are money pits, if you ask me. Most cars will get money from you, and they're not cheap to maintain either, leave alone buying. So unless your car is not working fine, you do not need another one. And working fine means it will get you from point A to point B without issues, okay? And your safety is what? Is assured. That's all you need. Otherwise, spending 10 million shillings to buy that G-Wagon, to buy that Land Cruiser V8, 10 million shillings, and you still living on an income of 100,000, 150,000, 200,000 shillings a month. It's a huge problem that you need to work on. Because you can imagine, if you invested that 10 million shillings that you're spending on a car, that will never get you anything in return, but take from you. That's what we call liabilities. Instead of spending that 10 million shillings, if you invest that 10 million shillings today and you just get 20% in return, which every other industry in this country will give you comfortably without any of your intervention, we're talking about 20% of 10 million shillings, which is around how much? 2 million? Yes, 2 million shillings a year as a return on your investments. In a month, assuming every year has 10, every year has 10 months, you're talking about around 200,000 shillings as a return on investment, as an interest. Your principal is still intact, but you're getting 200,000 shillings coming your way every single month as interest. That would mean you can comfortably fire your boss and quit your job and live off the returns on investment. But you're wasting that money on a vehicle that is not never getting you anything in return. So before you gift yourself that brand new car that you want to have, ask yourself if you really, really need it. In most cases, you do not. And unless you do, don't go buy it. Invest first, okay? Use the third generation interest to buy expensive cars, okay? So it means you've invested your 10 million shillings, you get your returns of 20% or 30% or 50%, reinvest again, and then the third one, that's what you use to buy the expensive shit, as they call it. With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. It's been fun. If you're new here, consider subscribing, of course, so you get notified every time we do such videos. Also, give me some thumbs up if you like this video. We do this every other day. Yes, and you'll be notified if you are a subscriber already. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. For now, bye-bye. A lot of respect for you. Go change the world, because that's what you came to do. Goodbye for now.